Hi and welcome to the Mindful Living YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, I'm honored to practice with you again. Let's start in Sukhasana today. Easy pose, crisscross applesauce. Hands can be face down for grounding on the knees or face down if there's something you're looking to receive today. And let's just start with a moment of gratitude for the practice, for our bodies, our breath. Give yourself a moment to start to settle. Settle into the moment, settle onto your mat, into your body, your breath. Allow the thoughts to start to slow down. Imagining for just a moment that we have nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to be. We'll be starting with a pranayama today, as breath is the foundation of this practice. Nadi Shodhana, so we'll take a mudra with our hand where we put down the pointer and the middle finger. Let's take a moment to feel the essence of the mudra before we start. And to start Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing, we will bring the thumb, place it on top of the right nostril, hold it down as we inhale through the left side nostril. Closing off the left side nostril, we exhale through the right side. And inhaling through the right side, full long deep breaths. We close it off and exhale through the left side. That's one round. Let's do a couple more. Inhaling through the left side, closing it off. Exhale right side, inhale right side nostril, closing it off, and exhale left side. Exhale all of the air out before beginning the inhalation through the left side nostril once more. And close the left side nostril off, exhale right side. Again, exhaling to completion before inhaling through the right side nostril. Closing the right side nostril off and exhale left side. And sighing the air out to completion. That concludes our 3 rounds of Nadi Shodhana. And let's see if we can't find a steady, even breath to take with us throughout our practice today. We will take a few more breaths here in Sukhasana and meditation, trying your best not to anticipate the next move, the next part of practice, allowing yourself to be fully immersed in where we are at now. When you feel complete, let's start to invite some movement into our body, taking big shoulder circles, reaching them up towards the ears, drawing them down the back and back around. Big circles. Touching your ears and drawing them down, creating space in the sides of your neck. Now let's do one shoulder at a time. So one shoulder comes up towards the ears, draws back and switch sides. Make it a fluid motion. Start to invite your spine, the whole spine, into the movement. Invite the arms into the movement, worrying less about how it looks and more about how it feels. Interlace the hands in front of you, turn the palms face out and lift them up towards the sky so your biceps are connected to your ears. On your next exhale, tuck your chin to your chest as you round through the spine, pushing away through the hands. Inhale, lift the hands towards the sky. And exhale, round, slow, steady breath. On your inhale, rise, hands to the ceiling, to the sky. On your exhale, round, chin to chest, push through the hands. Pause, and we'll take a couple full rounds of breath. Really breathing into the backside of the body, breathing into the shoulder blades, envisioning that the breath was infiltrating the whole backside of the body before releasing the hands and sweeping them up towards the sky, gathering all the air molecules into your hands and taking a seated twist. The left hand comes to the right knee, Gently pulling onto that knee to help open through the chest. Right hand is behind us. Relaxing the muscles in your face, allow the tongue to drop away from the roof of the mouth. Sweeping those hands back up towards the sky, we'll take a seated twist. Right hand comes to the opposite knee. Left hand placed directly behind the spine. Gently draw through that front hand to help open through the chest, to feel lifted through the crown of the head, rooted through the tailbone. Releasing the pose, bring your arms out to a T for Garudasana arms. Right arm underneath the left and hook the palms to one another. If this is too intense, inaccessible, please just give yourself a hug. Otherwise, keeping those palms connected will lift and lower our arms a few times. Lift and lower, stretching into the back of your shoulder blades, into the side bodies a bit. Let's hold at the top. Take a breath in, deep breath into the shoulder blades, into the upper chest, and on your next exhale, we'll round through the spine. Bring the elbows towards the belly button as you tuck your chin to your chest. Again, another deep breath into the upper back and the shoulder blades. Releasing the arms, right hand comes down to the side body. Reach the left hand up towards the sky. Turn your gaze towards the ceiling, towards the cosmos. Feeling a long line of energy from your fingertips down to your hips. Bringing the arms back to a T for Garudasana. Left arm underneath the right. Hook the palms. Again, if it's inaccessible, just give yourself a hug. Hands to the shoulders. And let's start to lift and lower with eagle arms. Do it about 3 times. And on the 3rd time, hold your arms up high. And on your exhale, elbows to belly button. Deep breath into the upper back, to the shoulder blades. And releasing the arms. Left hand comes down to the ground, right fingertips sweep up towards the sky for a side body stretch. Turn your gaze to face the ceiling, to face the sky if you're outside. And rather than closing your chest down to the ground, think about opening the chest to the sky as you look up. And let's come into Balasana, child's pose. Big toes touch, knees are wide as you sink the hips down towards the heels and walk the hands towards the top of the mat. Dropping the palms down to the ground for Hasta Bandha. And lifting up onto the fingertips to increase the stretch through the upper back and the shoulders, envisioning that the eye of your armpit was reaching down towards the ground. Drop the palms back to the mat and take a bend at the elbows for prayer behind your head. Bringing the hands to the base of your neck, if possible. Taking a few deep breaths before reaching your hands back towards the top of the mat and lifting up into tabletop position. And we will take a few rounds of cat and cow. 1 breath, 1 movement. As we continue our spinal awakening, the seat of our central nervous system. So many nerves, so many energetic centers along our spine. Taking 1 more round, meeting in a neutral spine where we will extend the right leg towards the long edge of our mat, sole of the foot face down, firmly planted into the mat, and sink the hips down towards the heels. Inhale, come up, and exhale, hips to heels. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink. And hold, pause, engage the quad to help lengthen through the hamstring before inhaling, rising. Keeping the leg in line with the glutes, inhale the left fingertips up towards the sky and thread the needle. Left arm drops underneath that right as you extend the right hand towards the top of the mat. Focusing all of your attention on the sensations that the pose evokes. Optional bind with the top arm at the low back. Taking a few more deep body breaths into the left shoulder blade. Envisioning your breath going in and expanding that space. Keeping the leg where it is, lifting the arms back up into tabletop position. We'll draw that right leg in a little bit closer to our center line, lifting up through the chest. Right elbow comes to our knee. Left arm reaches up and over the head so that we're in a modified Utthita Parshvakonasana, modified side angle. You can start to sink weight into that right leg if you have the space. Making sure to stay lifted through the chest as you open your heart space and open your chest towards the sky. Gaze can follow. Optional bind with the left arm at the low back, connecting back to your prana, your life force energy. Release the bind, and let's switch sides. We'll find tabletop position, feeling Hasta Bandha, connection between your palms and the earth, and extend that left leg towards the long edge of your mat. Foot is in line with the glutes, and start to shift backwards and forwards. One breath, one movement. As you exhale, your hips sink down towards your heels, and as you inhale, you rise coming forward. On your next exhale, sink the hips down towards the floor. Pause, take a moment to feel that connection between your glutes and the heel. Next time you come forward, sweep the right fingertips up towards the sky. Pause for a moment with your heart open, fingertips lifted before threading the needle, right arm underneath the left. Left hand reaches towards the top of the mat. And feeling free to come into that optional bind at any time. Allowing your awareness to be on the sensations that arise in the body. Being a witness to the thoughts that arise in the mind throughout practice. And utilizing the breath as a tool to remain present through it all. Let's lift back up into tabletop position, keeping the leg where it is. We'll draw it in slightly, lifting up through the chest to find modified Utthita Parshvakonasana, modified side angle. So our left elbow is to the left knee, right arm sweeps up towards the sky, bringing the bicep close to the ear. Heart is open towards the sky, towards the cosmos. Gaze follows. Option to sink into that left leg a bit more if you have the space. And hook that right arm at the low back. Start to unwind, and let's meet in Balasana for some spinal undulations. From child's, we'll be rolling forward, pressing through the shoulders and lifting up for cobra or up dog. On your exhale, sinking back into child's. Let's do that again. Start to roll through the spine in a wave-like motion before opening up into cobra. From Bhujangasana, finding Balasana, sinking hips to heels. On your next inhale, coming forward for Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, up dog, lifting the thighs off the mat, lifting the knees. And on an exhale, lift the hips high to the sky for Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Feeling the connection between your hands, Hasta Bandha, and the connection between your feet, Parahasta Bandha, and the ground. Feel that connection. If your legs are tight, feel free to bring a small bend into the legs. The heels do not have to be on the ground. All together, let's inhale high on the heels, bend the knees, and step or walk to the top of the mat. Inhaling to a flat back, shifting weight forward so it's in your toes. Fold forward, Shake the head out, yes and no, and slowly roll up to standing. Head and neck come up last. For Tadasana, mountain pose, palms face forward. Sweep the arms up towards the sky, reaching for the cosmos as you draw the hands down into heart center, drawing that cosmic energy into your heart. Take a moment of gratitude. We'll extend the arms out to a T and find Garudasana arms, right arm underneath the left. Hook the palms together. And let's find Garudasana legs. Full eagle pose, left leg stacks on top of the right. The left foot can hook around the leg that's planted into the ground, or you can keep the toes planted into the mat and just have your legs crossing over one another. Wherever you are, let's reach those hands towards the sky on an inhale. And on your exhale, round through the spine and bring the elbows towards the belly button. Releasing the legs for Virabhadrasana 3, extending the left leg towards the back of the mat. Drop the back leg towards the ground for high lunge legs, still with eagle arms. Lift those arms up towards the sky, opening through the heart, through the shoulders, and draw the elbows down towards that front knee. Release the arms so the chest and the arms are basically parallel to the floor. And let's open out for Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2 pose. Spin the back heel down and sink weight into that front knee. Inhale, right fingertips to the sky for Peaceful Warrior. Exhale for modified or full side angle. Reaching the top hand up and over, bicep connected to the ear, feeling a long line of energy from your fingertips to the outer blade edge of your foot. Optional bind with the top arm, really lifting through the chest and opening the heart towards the sky. Release the bind with the arm, and let's find Skandasana on the left side, sinking your hips down towards the ground as you extend or straighten through the right leg. Again, it's not so much about how it looks. If you need to keep your hips higher or place them on a block, feel free to do so. Modifying the practice to fit your own needs. Let's turn towards the top of the mat and step up, left foot to meet the right for a forward fold. Grab your ankles and draw your chest down towards the ground, feeling the connection between the tops of your thighs and your chest. Before rising to standing, sweeping the arms up towards the sky and drawing that cosmic energy down into your heart. Arms come out to a T. Garudasana on the left side, left arm underneath the right as you hook the palms towards one another. Right leg steps on top of the left. Foot placement is your choice. The toes can rest on the mat or they can hook all the way around that rooted foot. Inhale, arms up towards the sky. Slow and steady. Exhale, elbows to belly button. Rounding through the spine, take your time. Release the bind with the legs for Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Just as a transition, as you slowly drop that back foot into high lunge. Keeping the arms as they are, sinking weight into that front knee. As you lift your arms up towards the sky, open your heart. And bring those elbows down towards the top of your thigh. Release the bind, sweep the arms towards the back of the mat. Ski your chest and open out into Warrior 2 position. Arms come to a T, back heel spins down. Sink weight into the front knee. Inhale for Peaceful Warrior. And exhale, full or modified side angle. What you took on one side, you might not need on the other, and that's okay. Honor that. Most important is that you remain connected to your breath. Let's find Skandasana on the right side, extending through the left leg, dropping the hips down towards the ground. Again, what you need on one side, you might not need on the other. Honor that. If you need to keep your hips high, that is an option. And let's find Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold. Bring the hands to the ankles. Draw the crown of the head down towards the ground. Feel the crown chakra connected to the earth. Walk those hands forward so that we're in a wide-legged down dog. Reaching the eye of the armpit down towards the ground, dropping the chest to the mat. And reversing that, walking the hands through the legs. Palms face down towards the ground. Make sure that the weight is evenly distributed in your toes and your heels. So if you notice weight is heavily in your heels, shift it forward and feel your toes start to grip the mat to help with balance. Let's lift up through the chest, and we'll keep our left hand planted into the mat as we reach our right hand up towards the sky for a twist. Hook that top arm at the low back, and the bottom hand comes over to the opposite leg. You can choose to stay lifted through the chest, or you can start to gently pull on that leg to draw your torso towards it and towards the ground. Release, bring the arms out to a D, chest parallel to the ground, and drop the right arm to the mat as you lift the left fingertips up towards the sky, pausing for a moment before finding that bind with the top arm. Right hand reaches over towards the opposing leg, staying lifted through the chest for a moment before gently pulling your torso down towards the ground. Taking one last full round of breath. Unwinding, let's meet in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Noticing how this down dog feels different than the first. Right toes lift high to the sky, take a bend in the knee, and step that foot forward for Kapottasana or pigeon pose. Untuck the back toes. Walk the hands towards the top of the mat, coming down onto the forearms or dropping your chest fully down to the ground. Hands can come into prayer, taking a bend at the elbows. If you need to stay lifted through your chest, if you need to find a blocker or bolster to help support you in this pose, please feel free to. It is an intense hip opener and does require a great deal of attention, awareness, knowledge of our body and its capabilities. Extending the hands back towards the top of the mat, let's lift up through our chest. Opening the heart to the front of the room, taking a deep breath, breathing into the pose, into any uncomfortable spaces. And we'll step back into down dog, reaching the right toes to the sky, take a bend in the elbow before dropping that right leg back to meet the left. And switching sides, left toes to the sky. Step it forward for Kapottasana, pigeon pose on the left side. It's another one of those poses where sides may be very different, and that's okay. Take whatever it is that you need, be true to yourself. And know that in some of these more intense postures, the breath is your best friend. Breathing deeply sends signals to our nervous system that it is okay, it is safe. Give yourself permission to breathe deeply into the pose, to feel the discomfort, to be present with anything that arises. However, there should be no pain whatsoever. Lifting up through the chest, finding Hasta Bandha with the hands as you reach the left toes to the sky for three-legged dog, taking a bend in the knee, and come back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog, walking your feet forward. Inhale to a flat back, walk your feet out to the long edge of the mat, Turn your heels in and your toes out for Malasana, Yogi Squat. Finding Anjali Mudra with the hands, thumb pressed up against the sternum. And bring the right hand out on the diagonal, left fingertips up towards the sky for a twist, opening through the heart. Option to bind that top arm or reach around and connect with the right hand. Opening up, coming through center, switching sides, left hand down towards the ground as you reach those right fingertips up towards the sky. And pause here if this is enough. Stay if you're looking for more. Find a half or full bind. Making sure to keep the integrity of the pose, keeping the hips close to the ground. Hands come back to Anjali Mudra before slowly sitting back down onto the ground. For Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Remove the fleshy part from underneath your sits bones. Sweep those arms up towards the sky, collecting the air molecules, holding them in your hands before folding forward. Reaching for the toes or reaching for the knees, the tops of your legs, wherever the hands fall. Again, focus less on what it looks like and more on how it feels in your body. Today it may feel radically different than another day, and that's okay. Just be present with what it feels like today in this moment. Allow your breath to be your anchor. Breathing into the backside of the body. If at any time you need to inhale, rise a bit, and exhale, folding forward even a little more deeply. Your time as you come out of Paschimottanasana, and we'll start to move into Gomukhasana, or cow face pose. Right leg will stack on top of left to start. Ideally, we want our knees on top of each other and facing forward. Feeling the tailbone rooted into the earth, hips are connected to the ground. Your hands can come to your feet or to your knees to start as you lift up tall through the chest. Even bringing the right hand, the right thumb into the crease of the hip to really anchor it down into the ground. And let's find Gomukhasana arms. So the right hand will hook around at the low back and the left hand will reach up towards the sky, and you'll bring the left hand in between the shoulder blades. The goal here is that your hands meet and you interlace them, or you hook them, basically clasping them. I'm showing you a different view here so you can see. If this is inaccessible, try finding a towel or a yoga strap, bringing it into either hand and holding onto that strap. Okay, and let's turn back towards the top of the mat for a half spinal twist. Counter stretch on that right leg, reach it towards the top of the mat as you bend through the left leg and give yourself a squeeze. This spinal twist can help with digestion, with wringing out any stagnant energy in the spine. And from here, we will shift directly into Gomukhasana on the left side, just bending the legs, stacking the left leg on top of the right, pausing for a moment, feeling that connection from crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone. Optional block underneath the hips to help elevate them, making this a little bit easier on the hips. And we'll find Gomukhasana arms, so right hand reaches up towards the sky. Take a bend at the elbow and place the palm of the hand directly beneath or between the shoulder blades, hooking the left arm at the low back, and you're ideally reaching the hands towards one another. If they don't meet, create that mind-muscle action, visualizing your hands reaching towards one another. Coming slowly out of Gomukhasana to find the half spinal twist, counter stretch on that left leg, extend it towards the top of the mat. Twisting towards the right side of your mat, take a few deep breaths. Release the twist, face forward, bring the soles of the feet to the mat, about hips width distance apart, hands plant behind you, fingertips face forward. Straighten through the arms to help lift and open through the chest. And on your next inhale, lift the hips towards the sky, opening through the whole front side of your body, from shoulder to shoulder, from collarbones to knees. Making sure not to hold your breath here. Relaxing the muscles of your face as you exhale and bring your hips back down to the ground. And slowly make your way onto your back. We'll find fallen bridge pose. So bring the feet to the long edge of the mat as you drop the knees in towards one another. Giving your low back some love. The hands can place gently on top of your hips as you trace the in-breath and trace the out-breath. Slowly we'll start to move the legs from side to side, dropping the knees down to the ground. And let this be a slow movement. Feeling every part of the motion. Let's do it once more on each side. And bring the legs in towards the torso. Wrap your arms around your shins, squeeze into a little ball. And on your next exhale, let's find Savasana. If you'd like, you can bring a bolster underneath your back or blocks underneath your knees. Taking a few more deep breaths, the most nourishing and healing breaths yet, before starting to release control over the breath. Allowing the natural flow of prana to return. If you'd like, you can bring those hands, place them gently on your hip bones, on top of your belly. Feeling that natural flow of air. Allow the tongue to fall away from the roof of the mouth. The top and bottom row of teeth gently part as you unclench the jaw. And a sense of relaxation spreads from the center of your heart to the crown of your head, down your arms to your hands, down your torso to your legs, your toes. Feel free to pause the video and stay in Savasana as long as you'd like. Otherwise, let's close out practice together. Starting to tap each finger pad to the thumb pad. Wiggling those toes. Taking a full body stretch. And a deep breath to accompany that full body stretch. Before rolling off onto one side. Coming up into seated. Taking a moment to observe the effects of practice on our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. And let's bring the hands to Anjali Mudra, heart center, feeling the thumb press up against the sternum, and ending practice the same way that we started, with a moment of gratitude. Before bringing the thumb to the space between the brow, the third eye space, in honor of the practice, in honor of our ancestors, our descendants, family and friends, in honor of the world, we bow. Namaste. Wishing you a life that is beautiful, blessed, and full of peace.